Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how to replace the speakers in your car. It's not too hard, but it might take a while. If you know what you're doing, it will take about half an hour per door. First, here are the tools and parts you'll need. For tools, you need a Phillips number 2 and number 3 screwdriver, a 10mm socket wrench, a flathead screwdriver or spudger tool for removing the trim, and possibly a wire stripper depending on which speakers and cables you buy. If your new speakers have the quick connect sliders, you won't need the wire strippers. For parts, you'll need new speakers. I got the Infinity Kappa 63 XFs. Make sure you check that the speakers actually fit your vehicle. Then next is the wiring harness to connect the speakers. For Nissan, it's the 727401. I think technically you don't need these, but rather than cutting the stock wires and trying to figure out the colors, I think it's just easier to buy the harnesses, especially if the new speakers have the quick connects. And then possibly a new speaker bracket, because the ones that came with my speakers didn't exactly match the holes in my car. So you could drill new holes if you wanted to, but again, just buying the right part might be easier. And I'll put the links to these items in the description below so you can check them out. Alright, so to start, we'll remove this plate behind the door handle. Then next is this panel holding the buttons. Depending on which door you're working on, it might be easier to lift from the bottom edge or the side edge. Now we disconnect the wires underneath. The driver's side has more buttons and cables, and they're a little tricky to pull out. The frontmost harness has a release button on the left side. The middle one is in the back, and then the leftmost one is in the front. And you can use a flathead to help wiggle them out. Okay, now we can remove the two bolts. Both of them are 10mm, but the top one can fit a Phillips head 3. The bottom one's going to require a socket wrench. Next, we can pop out the pressure clips holding the trim. I found it easier to use a screwdriver and to lift it from the side nearest the speaker, and then the rest of the panel can pop out pretty easily after that. The panel hangs from the top ledge, as you can see here. Now get your Phillips head 2 ready, because when you lift the panel, you're going to need to take out 3 screws holding the door handle while you're holding the panel. Once that's out, you can start removing the 3 bolts holding the speakers, either with the socket wrench or a Phillips head 3, and then unclip the speaker from the wire. Now grab your new bracket and try to line it up with the holes. Pay attention to the orientation, because when you attach the speaker to the bracket, you want the terminals to be near the speaker wire. And each door has the holes in different positions, so you gotta rotate the speakers and brackets differently. And you can see here I have to rotate the speaker a little bit to the left. I'm using the long screws that came with the speaker to attach them to the bracket. Okay, now let's figure out the wiring harness. These have the quick connects on them, but my speakers have the screw-in terminals, as you can see here. So I'm going to cut these off and then strip the wire. If your speakers have the quick connects, then you're good to go. Just plug them in. After stripping, twist the wire. And you're going to connect the black one, which is the ground, to the left side, and then the white wire goes on the right side. Loosen the terminals with the Phillips head 2. Insert the wires and then tighten. Now we can bolt in the speaker bracket. Make sure your harness is sticking out so you can clip it in. Mine has tweeters that you can rotate, so you can point them at the passenger. And here's a good spot to test the speakers and make any adjustments before covering everything up. At this point, we're just doing everything in reverse. So here I'm replacing the panel and screwing in the door handle while holding it up. This is literally the same clip I showed earlier, just in reverse. Now we can hang the panel back onto the door. Make sure the wires for the buttons is sticking out. And then give everything a good slap to push in the pressure clips. Now we replace the two bolts. Remember, the one with the Phillips head goes on top. Clip in the wires for the buttons and then replace the panel. And then finally the vanity panel behind the door handle. Now you're done. Here is another reversed clip. Okay, so as a bonus, I'm going to let you listen to an audio comparison. I have to say, I don't think this is really representative of what you'd hear in person because this was recorded on an iPhone. The main difference that I hear from the new speakers is the sound stage is a lot better. Like, the sound has more dimension to it and it feels more surrounding, but I don't think the iPhone's able to capture that effect. And overall, I think the trebles sound clearer, the mid-range sounds richer, and the bass is fuller. But anyway, enough of me talking. Just let me know what you think.